Okay, so here is what I think. Let me restate that. Here is what I believe to be the easiest and most sort of foolproof way of building a web design, web marketing style business using the CARRD platform. And this is ideal for those of us who aren't web designers or web developers, but really want actually a sort of online business opportunity that's foolproof. I mean, you really can't mess this up. There's very little opportunity to screw this up if you do this, in the way I'm about to prescribe. And I'm only recording this because a lot of folks have been asking me in our private community about how to, what the best service is in the kind of online marketing genre as a loose phrase, right? So is it SEO? Is it email marketing? Is it web design? Is it social media marketing? Is it consulting? And in my view, CARRD, if you are somebody who's not a designer but is just looking to start something that allows you to quickly cultivate clients, that you can do email outreach, which I'll teach you how to do, and you can simply identify an ideal audience or a quintessential client and then offer them a service that they empirically need, right? So you're not actually trying to convince them to do something they don't need, or you're not trying to pitch them on some BS sort of strategy or idea. You're actually identifying a gap in a market and then filling it, right? So I did a recording, I don't know, a few weeks ago that has garnered a fair amount of interest in our little community on using Linktree profiles, right? So Linktree is actually, you know what, rather than pulling up the card, that's what it looks like. But, you can go and look at this is live, right? So this is a really kind of rudimentary example. Obviously I did this just for the demo, but, you can do these in a really beautiful way. Let's go back over here. Let's go to new profile. And again, I don't want to go through this whole thing. I'm just going to show you. I mean, you have all of these Linktree profiles built into CARRD already. So, I mean, the one I picked was this one, but there are better looking ones. There's this, there's this. You can pick any which one that, is most kind of appealing to you, or mix them up, right? I mean, these are all, by the way, free with your Pro CARRD membership. The ones that I'm generally using in our community are premium themes that I paid for. You don't even need to spend the money on that the way that I did. So, like these, like this is paid for, this is paid for, this I paid for, that I paid for. These aren't profile, themes, but they're all premium cards that I had to buy, right? You don't even need to do that for this strategy. Okay, so without further ado, you're just going to go. Let's actually create a workbook here that you can download, and I'll just lay the whole thing out for you. All right, so all right, and you can download this in your members area. And all you're going to do is this, right? So step number one is I can't spell. That's step number one. All right, so just identify who it is that you actually need or want to work with in the world, right? And this is variable, contingent on a shit ton of various sort of peculiarities or preferences that you may have. Let's say you're already building a website in a certain niche. Well, then maybe you'd want to stick with that niche. Maybe you're just someone who's quit a job or lost a job and is working from home and just wants to make some money from home starting like now, like in mid-November 2021, right? Regardless of this will work in either scenario, but if you already have a specific sort of market that you're targeting because you already have a website, I know lots of folks in my particular community have directories or marketplaces or little niche communities, etc. So that would make your decision a little bit more biased towards targeting the people that you already kind of are working to building relationships with. If you're just somebody who wants to build a mercenary kind of marketing business or consulting business or web design business, start with whoever looks the most appealing to you from the standpoint of this need, right? Niche and need. So let's say you go to Instagram and you live in ABC town, Cleveland, Kansas, New York City, it doesn't matter. You go and you look at, let's say, this target audience, right? This quintessential client or ideal audience. Let's say it's realtors. I like to use realtors as an example only because there are tons of them. They're always hustling, and the payoff to them for having a smart marketing strategy can be hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not more, a year. So they tend to be investors in their own either education or in their own business and brands. And one of the things that you'll notice on Instagram, in particular with realtors, and this again doesn't need to be realtors, it can be financial services professionals, accountants, dentists, doctors. Therapist is another great niche. Mental health professionals who aren't like, kind of people like who are, succeeding in the world already and who are using Instagram. And I'm just using Instagram as an example. All right. So you go and you find these folks and you write an email that outreaches to them, right? You introduce yourself. But what you really want to do here is you want to identify that, let's say on Instagram, they don't have a good website. The one link that we all get on Instagram is that kind of bio link, right? And most folks don't use that link well. Oftentimes people don't use it at all. If a real estate agent is using that link, often they're linking to their kind of agency's webpage or their profile on that page, right? So if you're a Joe Blow realtor and you work for Jane Doe is the agency, Joe Blow is often using Jane Doe's agency as the landing page on his link. On his link in bio in his Instagram URL, and that's just bad branding, right? So essentially, what you want to do is offer them this Linktree page, right? So you're going to offer a service, which in this case all right, so you can offer them a Linktree page done via CARRD. And that makes this really, really super simple. They can immediately identify the fact that they need it. You can even, if they're not using that page well, you can say, Mr. or Mrs. Smith, on your Linktree page, not only can you link to your realtor agency, the one that you work for, but you can also link to other things. Like I can give you 5 or 7 or 10 different links if you want. Your Twitter, your Facebook, your YouTube channel, your wife's bakery, cookie website. It doesn't matter. I can add anything you want to that page. So it's all, in a very organized way. You are automatically giving your audience, rather than one single option, we're going to be landing on a page with lots of places where they can learn more about you. So there's a very empirically, oriented, you're offering evidence that is empirically able to be demonstrated, right? Other people are using this. Those profile.fm cards or about me, kind of pages, they're everywhere, right? But they're still, even though they're everywhere, they are in a minority of the professional pages on Instagram, right? So you have this evidence for success by dint of other people using this approach already, and you can offer this to folks who don't have it, but you can offer to do it better. So, for an example, CARRD, when you're doing this the right way, gives you the ability to, to really add much more attractive pages than folks are going to be able to do on their own, right? Or that they're going to be able to get from one of these About Me or Profile.fm or whatever. And, CARRD has, these are all CARRD sites that take literally, an hour to do at most. And and they look a shit ton better than the analogous comparison on About Me or whatever. You just have more options to do more cool things than you would have on those other platforms, but it still takes you mere minutes. So again, using the most rudimentary example of this, and this is not what I would offer, but let's say this is what you decide to offer. You're taking a card template, and you're just going to, this is a template that comes with cards. You're not even buying, an extra template like I did. This is free with card. All you're going to do is edit this for your client, right? So, I mean, regardless of what the template that you have is, hi, I'm Joe Smith, and I'm a realtor in Kentucky. I mean, you can do, all the, change the, font a little bit. That's bolder now. All right, so I mean, I'm just being goofy here, but now you can actually change that, right? So now it says see some of my favorite listings below and check out my high school football team. I just won coach of the year or whatever, right? So now you can have a little personal message, and that all took me seconds, right? And change his Twitter profile, change, obviously he wouldn't have this because that's not a realtor oriented kind of, it's a developer oriented web repository. He may not have a podcast, he may not have Instagram, or she may not have Instagram, she may not have Medium, but let's say she doesn't have a podcast, you could change this to anything you want, right? That works for their needs. Not PayPal. All right, so I mean, you can modify this, and now it's done. And if I publish this, it's live on the web right now. Right? Hi, I'm Joe Smith. I'm a realtor in Kentucky. Everything we just covered. That's all finished. Now, you could give this to somebody for the year with web hosting and offer to make modifications to this once every 3 months or whatever, like just something that's very appealing to them, and charge $100. It's not a lot of money for you, I agree, but it's also not a lot of money for them, and it took you the better part of 8 minutes, right? How many of these could you do a day if you just reached out in a very organized and systematized way to all the realtors on Instagram that were either in your locality, in your state, in your city, or on planet Earth? I mean, if you're really ambitious and wanted to go out and hire a couple of other people to do this with you, it's very, very simple work, and you could be really cultivating amazing relationships with your niche neighbors, professional peers, whatever it may be, in the service of starting to really earn a great income. I mean, you need 5, 7, 8, 9 of these a day, and you'd still have, think about all the amount of time this takes. You would still have, even if this took you 6 hours a day with the email interaction and the kind of negotiation or whatever it may be, you're still making great money very quickly, offering a service that's dead simple to procure on a platform that's that makes doing this kind of work a breeze, right? So just pick a simple template that you can customize that has universal All right, that's it. And that, you don't want to pick a really complicated template. I've done that. Like, I've made that mistake where I'm trying to, like, demonstrate that I'm such a I mean, I'm not a designer, but like when I generally do these things, when I'll reach out to people through email or have other people do this for us, generally I overcomplicate it. Like I'll create these like great looking landing pages using CARRD, which is why I bought all those templates because I'm a design dummy. But some of those landing pages are really, really beautiful. And then you offer that, and people want all these modifications and all this customizations. They want the colors changed. They want this, that, and the other thing done. And that makes it too cute by half, and it's not necessary. And who cares about charging $300 for that when you can charge $100 or $200 for what I just showed you? And make it dead simple on yourself. It's actually, in the fullness of time, it's easier to charge less and just get more clients for such a dead simple process rather than do something a little fancier that actually becomes a little bit of a pain in the ass because you have to customize it. People want this change and that change. I mean, if you're doing something like this, there ain't that many customizations on offer, right? I mean, no one's going to say, like, if they want the color change, great. That's an easy thing to change. If they there's not enough elements here to modify for people to really become a pain in your rear end. Now, I'm not telling you that this is the template I would choose. I would probably choose a prettier, more aesthetically kind of sophisticated one. But even those, make it super, super easy to modify, customize, etc. I mean, like the ones we looked at a moment ago. Where are they? Here. I mean, something like this, is in my view better looking. Something like this. I mean, these are all really, really easy. It doesn't have to be, this like just pure, just links. I mean, you can have a Linktree page that has content on it. Here, like this one. I mean, it still has it's not quite a link tree, but you can do something like this too very, very quickly. In this case, you're linking out to blog posts. There's all kinds of variations that you can apply to this process and make it your own. All right, so if you're interested in the download, it's here. I'll add some other elements to this. I mean, the email outreach is really important, and this is where all this stuff lives and dies. I mean, the best way of doing email outreach in my experience is just be personal. Like, say things that are nice about that person. The single best email outreach campaign that I've ever done, and that's just been recently, has been for authors. And the reason it's been so effective is because I've sent them emails that have referenced their books. Right, so I'm not like saying, "Hey, Joe, I live in New York City, and I'm in your neighborhood, and I've heard of your dental practice." I mean, that's what some people think is personalization. When you compare that to sending an email to an author that says, "Hey, Joe, my name is Ian from Mindful Marketplace, and I recently read the first chapter of your book, Mindfulness Made Easy. It was recommended to me from one of our members, and I really appreciate your unique approach to the practice. I also share some of your, I've also learned or studied or have gone on mindfulness retreats at some of the other places that you mentioned in the book. As you may know, Joe, and then you go into your pitch a little bit and you set up a time to discuss. This would work just as well for mindfulness professionals, by the way, yogis, meditation teachers, all those sorts of spiritual development leaders as it would for realtors. There's a ton of those folks as well, and while they do tend to be a little bit more sophisticated when it comes to their websites, there are still more than half that that could really benefit from just having a simple Linktree page because they don't have anything right now. All right, so I hope you actually do this. I hope that those of you who are stuck with with maybe you've lost a job or you've quit a job or you hate your job and you have some ambition and some interest in entrepreneurial kind of activities, that you'll try this because it works. It can't fail. I mean, there's just not when you have a true need in a niche and you're smart about how you seek out those folks and you offer them something that actually fills a hole that they can recognize in their own practice or brand or business, it's just mathematics. I mean, you cannot fail. You are going to get people who are going to say, yeah, I'll take it. I mean, that sounds like a great deal. Sign me up. All right. Thank you so much for watching. If you have questions, as always, feel free to reach out and ask. If you use CARRD and you sign up using our partners or use our Mindful Marketplace affiliate link, which I'll have in the description box and our community below, send me a note and I'll see if I can send you some extra CARRD swag to make your life easier as a card designer. Thanks so much and have a wonderful day.